So just a little bit about me. I've been on the board now since, as he said, since November 2015, 10 years on the board. Been a resident of Pacifica for 28 years, and I have 2 grown children that are graduates of the district. This evening, I want to talk to you a little bit about your purpose, and more specifically, what does it look like to step out of your comfort zone, or to do something that you've never previously considered, which really leads into purpose. So we'll look at this through the lens of my own story. You know, the idea of running for public office years ago was anathema to me, quite frankly. I laughed at the idea, never thought that I would want to canvass, phone bank, in an effort to convince people to vote for me for public office. Until the summer of 2014, when I received an email from one of the school board members who knew that I had been an active parent volunteer in my community. I had coached Little League, I had coached soccer, I had been on the PTOs of my children's elementary, middle schools, and also high school. So she thought I'd be a good fit for the board. And my wife and I spent some time talking to her, asked her a lot of questions about what it would entail, what would a campaign look like, what it would look like to be on the board itself. And she said, oh, it's only 2 meetings a month. And then my wife, Paige, said, if we have the time and the ability to take care of the children of our community, we should do it. And those were the words I needed to hear. And friends and family in my community said the same thing as well, all my close friends. And so I figured, why not? And this gave me a new purpose. To be able to take what I had done previously and to take it to the next level to support the 4,000 students of our school district. And that was me stepping out of my comfort zone to run a campaign. So I ran for the board in November of 2014. There were 5 of us running for 3 seats. I canvassed, I phone banked. Other people canvassed and phone banked for me as well. And I met with local elected officials seeking their endorsement. We ran a solid campaign right up until Election Day, and then I lost. I came in 4th, in fact, out of the 5. And I did some soul searching, and I realized that I actually wasn't ready, because I enjoyed being a candidate more. It had gotten to my ego enjoyed being a candidate. Having people do things for you, your schedule was not your own. And I had to learn that it wasn't about me. It was about the people I was going to serve. Because public service is just that. It is about serving others, and I need to get myself back to that place of being able to serve other people. But I discovered, though, that purpose to support public education never really went away. I mean, I went back and continued to do my volunteer work, but then a year later, there was a vacancy on the school board. I applied for the position and was appointed. And 1 week later, after my appointment, I went to a joint meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District and the City Council of Pacifica, because they were meeting with the leadership from the San Mateo Community College District, who were presenting about their educator housing that they had built at that point at Kenyatta College and at the College of San Mateo. And that's when a new light bulb moment hit for me. A renewed sense of purpose, because it then became about housing. We could do this. Our small district of 4,000 students and 500 plus staff, we could do this. Even though the only other 2 K-12 districts in the state of California that had successfully done this were significantly larger than us, Santa Clara Unified and Los Angeles Unified. But this set me on a journey, and the board specifically on a journey. I brought this back to my very first board meeting, mentioned the idea. The board was certainly open and amenable to the idea, but the staff at the time scoffed. The leadership of the district scoffed at it. So we put a pin in it, but our journey continued on. The following year, we had new district leadership, And we started to do the hard work of developing housing for our district. We did a feasibility study, we did staff surveys, we started to look how we could finance the project. We spent time talking to local chambers of commerce, real estate agent groups, local democratic clubs, and as well as the community around the development. And of course, as you all know, this led to 705 ceremony, our educator housing that now houses 25% of our staff at rents that are roughly 50% below market rate. An interesting stat that came out of the studies that we had done was that we knew that we'd lose 25% of our staff every year. And 35% of our survey respondents actually told us that they would leave the district in the next 5 years simply due to the cost of housing. And 705 ceremony solved that for us. One of the biggest stats is the fact that our annual turnover has dropped from 25% to 5%. And in fact, in the fall of 2022 and the fall of 2023, on the first day of school, we did not have a single vacancy throughout the district, which, if you know public education, that is unheard of. But most importantly, we now have housing security for staff. Because the reality is this: our staff can't give their best to our students if they're struggling with housing insecurity. You know, now our staff don't have to worry about commuting an hour plus each way or worrying about the cost of rent. And most importantly, for our students, they're getting the best out of all of their educators. We're able to build on the curriculum each year instead of having to start over when we're losing 25% each year. So let me bring this all home. What's it all mean? Maybe those crazy ideas, the ones that make you feel really uncomfortable, aren't so crazy after all. Me running for public office seemed crazy at the time, but really not that crazy. Building housing for this district, for us as a board, not that crazy. So think about what it is that scares you, but you feel like you have a strong sense of purpose to do. Listen to trusted advisors, family, friends, and most importantly, to yourself. Do you have a sense of peace about what it is that you want to do? Ultimately, take that step of faith and do it, and live out that purpose with intention. You never know who it is that you're going to bless. Thank you so much.